This is a sports show on Tux FM.
Wonderful day to you. Thank you so much for joining me on Local Heroes. I am Lennox Wasara, and today I'm joined by a very talented golfer, Zander Lombard. Zander Lombard is born and raised in Pretoria, and he dominated the amateur circuit locally as well as internationally, turning professional in 2014 as a professional on the European tour. He's had a phenomenal start to his tour, to his career on the tour, and he's had some close calls on the tour where he's still in search for his maiden tour victory title after several accounts of top 5 finishes. And the young talented golfer earned his start on at the Open Championship back in 2016. Zander, thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Lennox. Thanks for having me.
Lekker, Zander. Just out of curiosity, Zander, when did your love for the game grow?
Geez, I hate saying it, but it kind of just happened for me. I played all the sports until high school, and golf just came easy to me. It was something I was really good at a young age. I was a scratch golfer when I was 12 when I was a scratch golfer, and at Waterkloof for grade 8 and 9, I played for the golf team and really started playing more competitively, amateur, abroad and local, and it really came easy. I played really well at a young age, and by grade 10 I decided to do homeschooling to pursue my golf 100%. And it's the plan A I followed, and luckily it's worked out for me, and it's been a great career so far.
Wow, it's certainly been great based on the trajectory you've been on and the path that you've walked as well. Zander, you've had some pretty close calls on the European Tour. You've finished well in the top 5 a few times, and basically had a playoff as well to sort of get close to winning. But I wonder, what are some of those lessons you've learned throughout the process whilst you're still in search for that championship?
You know what? I like to think that I've matured through those losses. It never got down on me. It just made me work harder and see if I can, do better next time. And the biggest thing I've learned from those losses is just how to handle your pressure and how to channel your adrenaline. I mean, in our golf, it's such a big part of the game. Pressure, nerves, adrenaline, they go hand in hand, and it's how you manage them and how you control them. And I like to think that it's something you learn over time, but some of the young guys have shown that they're fearless in what is pressure and what is adrenaline. They just take it from the start. So, like you said, my trajectory is on a good curve, and I'm really looking forward to what the next couple of seasons has in store. And I'm definitely looking for that next W with the amounts of learning I've done in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of South Africans are right behind you, and also wondering, Zander, what was the big shift when you played a lot locally here in South Africa and then moving over to Europe? What would you say are some of the big changes that you've had to deal with?
I think the biggest change was the weather. I mean, we're so spoiled in South Africa with great weather and great golf courses all the time. But the thing I had to learn quickly is how to adapt. And this week we're in rain, next week we're in wind, another week it's different grass. So adapting your game quickly and, learning to play your best golf in different circumstances has really been the biggest challenge. And I think I've really done that well over the last couple of years. And, you get used to traveling, and traveling a lot is definitely a big part of the sport. But I think when I started out, that was the biggest thing is, adapting. And it's absolute an adaptation out there, and, finding a way to get the ball in the hole on different greens and different grasses and different weather climates. So that's been the biggest change for me from playing local and abroad. And I'd like to think that I've done that well in the last couple of years again.
Amazing. I mean, you mentioned traveling, and that's one of the perks that comes with this wonderful game. I wonder, how many countries have you covered so far?
Geez, I think we had a count the other day. I think I've went to 52 different countries. Wow. in my career. Yeah.
So
it's quite a stretch.
You're a tourist and a golfer.
Yeah, international citizen, we like to call it.
International citizen. Zander, what is your advice to some young, talented golfers, amateur golfers specifically, who look up to professionals like yourself, who are always on television? What is your advice to such golfers?
There's no such thing as working too hard. You can never put too much time in. I think hard work trumps talent at the end of the day. And if talent practice hard, it's unbeatable. So that's a saying that I've always quite liked. So hard work is unsubstitutable. You got to put in the time and the effort, and you got to be willing to learn and make good changes for the benefit of your game. And yeah, again, if you're not there yet, you're not spending enough time. So it may sound simple and stupid as that, but it's really that easy. And you know what, fine tuning and getting better every day should be your goal.
Absolutely, yeah. Some people would bring the thought or the argument rather that perhaps they ought to be a little bit patient. How did you manage to stay patient perhaps when you're still waiting for those breaks in your career?
See, that's also a thing I've been working on. I work with Theo Besaidenote, who's also at Tux Golf. And that's one of the things I've really worked on a lot from amateur progressing into pro is staying patient. And it's so cliche, but staying in the moment, hole for hole, it's so important because you can race ahead and, screw it up, or you can be staying in the past, and that's also not beneficial to what you're trying to do. So definitely staying patient is one of my challenges. And for me, I play a little game on the golf course. For me, I play little 2-under games. As soon as I feel like I'm 2 over, because I play my best golf when my back's against the wall. So I feel like I'm 2 over par, and I try to get a level as quickly as I can. And as soon as I make 2 birdies or 2 under, even if it took me 3 holes or 6 holes or 9 holes, but as soon as I'm back to my proverbial level from my 2 over, so I'm 2 under, then I start a new game. I say, okay, forget about the last 6 holes. I'm 2 over again. I got to fight back to get to level. And I think you can have different variations of that. If you're not at that sort of level yet, you can say, okay, I'm 1 over. Let me just make a birdie. I need to make a birdie as soon as I can. And, keep pushing, and that keeps you in the moment, and also keeps you focusing on what you need to do. You don't wallow in the past, and you don't get ahead of yourself. You just say, I'm 1 over, 2 over, and I need to get back to level. Even though if you're not, you level par, you're starting at 2 over. And as soon as you back to level, you start at 2 over again for yourself in your mind. And then all of a sudden, when you count up those 2 under games, I play 8 or 9 under on the round. All of a sudden, you're like, geez, that was a great round, but you didn't get hung up on what your score was, or oh crap, now I'm 7 under. Now you get defensive. So that game really helps me in situations where I feel like my game is good enough to compete, and that I'm not setting my expectations too high too soon and not getting ahead of myself. So that's really helped me in my career, and I hope that can help somebody out there as well.
Look, I'll certainly be trying that the next time on the course. See how that goes. Zander, you've got life off the golf course as well. I wonder, what are some of your hobbies off the golf course?
Well, with golf being such a full-time sport, it's so difficult to get into any hobbies really off the golf course, because you're only home basically 2 weeks at a time. So it's very difficult. But when I do get some off time, I love my hunting, and I love all sports. I try and stay fit, playing other sports as well. And yeah, it's staying fit, hunting, and cars, I think, is my off-the-course hobbies that keep me busy and entertained.
Absolutely. You talk about cars. You're an automotive enthusiast. What is your dream car? And one day perhaps you might be driving it already.
Oh, it's difficult. I've always been between the old school, like the 2012 Porsche Carrera. I think it's a pretty car. But if I have to go on something that's flashy, and really my dream car is the Mercedes-AMG GTR. I just think it's a boss car, and it's an all-round amazing car.
Yeah, awesome. Zander, just my final question and my final thought really is more reflecting on the future. What is next for you in the next couple of years? We've seen some amazing golf, but I think what we have to see in the future might be quite special. But let's hear it from you. What's in it for you?
I think the long-term goal is definitely to get to the PGA and get to the top 50 in the world. And I'm saying it long-term, but it's kind of a lot more short-term than I realized myself. Because, like you said, with my curvature of my game and how I've improved and matured, really feel like the PGA Tour is definitely on the cards in the next year or two. It's like they always say, using your chances you get, and hopefully those chances I can convert into wins in the next 12 months. And it kind of happens by its own. If you play well, the perks come with it. So I think that is my first goal is to win, and second goal is to get onto the PGA Tour in the near future. And I think it's not as far a reach as I first might have thought, but I think I'm definitely one on my way.
Absolutely, Zander. I know you're on your way to Europe this weekend, so thank you so much for making time to chat to me today.
Thanks for having me, Lennox. I appreciate it.
Incredible. That's Zander Lombard, who joined me today on Local Heroes. As you heard it from him, the goal is to start winning again and also to get onto the PGA Tour. So hopefully when I speak to him again, he will be on the PGA Tour.